Hi guys, welcome to Coturnix Corner. So I recently built a stand system to set my hatching time cages on, and the problem I was having is that bottom tier on the hatching time cage is a little bit too low to the ground for me to be able to get down there, access the birds, and then obviously get back up. So what I did was I fashioned a stand using 2x2 construction and was able to lift the cage up and set it on top of that stand. And it worked really well. Actually, I posted a picture of it over on the Facebook group page, and a lot of people asked me, for the dimensions and how I went about building it. So I thought, what, I've got one more hatching time unit here that I want to build a stand for. I'll go ahead and give you guys the measurements, show you real quickly how we assembled it, and that way if you want to build one, you can. So let me take you over here to the table saw. I've got some pieces cut up. I'll go ahead and give you the measurements, and we'll start assembling the next unit. Okay, so before we get started, I wanted to show you basically what we are building here. As you can see, the stand is just a basic square at the top, 4 legs, and 2 feet on the bottom to help stabilize the stand. And also in the back, we've got some 45 angle pieces cut in there, and that's just to kind of strengthen it up and keep everything square. Now, because all these hatching time cages have the same dimensions, you can pretty much follow the measurements that I'm going to give you, and it will fit for all your hatching time cages. So let me go ahead and bring you over to the table saw, and I'll give you the measurements, and we'll go ahead and start assembling our next stand. Okay, so the assembly process on this is really simple. Basically what we're going to do is fashion a square out of 2x2s, and that will be what the stand is actually going to sit on. We have 2 front rails that will be going left to right on your cages, and those measure 35 inches a piece. Then we have 2 pieces for front to back pieces, which will measure 19.5 inches. We need 2 of those. And now on the legs, they can pretty much be whatever height you want them to be. Mine are 17 inches high, so we're actually lifting the cage up off the ground 17, 18 and a half inches if you follow these measurements. And then I had a couple pieces that were left over. I basically just 45 the ends of those. Those are going to be to add a little structural support to it on the back side of the cage. And then for the feet on the bottom of the cage, I had some old pallet wood laying around out back, and I just cut a couple pieces off of that, and they measure 27 inches. Again, that doesn't have to be exact. You can make that whatever you want. That is basically just to stabilize the unit so it doesn't rock back and forth. And another thing you could do too, by mounting this on the bottom of the foot, you could actually attach some wheels to the bottom if you wanted to be able to move the whole unit, wheel it around and whatnot. You're also going to need some 2.5 inch long drywall screws. That's what I use to screw everything together. And I also use some wood glue. I like to, glue up all my joints just to make sure that things are held together and it's not going to go anywhere. So let me go ahead, I'll reposition the camera again, and we'll go ahead and start building this real quick. Okay, so hopefully you can see what we've got going on here. Basically what we're going to do is take our 2 front and back pieces, and we're going to glue one of the 19.5 inch boards in between the 2. You want to make sure they don't go on the end. They need to go in between the 2. So what I did was I pre-drilled some holes right here, and I'm going to glue that up and screw that in. What I like to do is take a bucket and set my other end on my board on. Just makes it a little easier to screw things down. Hopefully you can see this okay. Add just a little bit of glue on there, and then we'll go ahead and screw that piece in. And then the same on the other side. We'll place a screw in there. A little bit of glue to hold things together. And then screw that down. And then we'll just flip it around and do the same thing on the other end. Okay, so that is basically our top piece where the cage will sit right on top of this. Okay, now what we want to do next is we are going to mount legs up underneath this thing. But what I like to do now is to pre-drill some holes through here and make sure that you don't hit the screw that's going through this way. So you'll have to come back a little bit or in front of it a little bit, maybe angle it in. Then we'll put a little more glue on the legs. We're also going to add a couple of these corner braces. They'll go like that. Same on this side, and that will stiffen it up pretty good. So let me go ahead and pre-drill these braces, and I'll get them installed. Then we'll come back and add the feet. Okay, so I did pre-drill this foot, and basically what we're going to do is just line that up. We'll put a little bit of glue on it. And we'll go ahead and screw that in place. Okay, and that's pretty much it. That's what the stand looks like. What I'll do is I'll probably take it outside, put a quick coat of paint on it, and then we'll go ahead and set the cage on top of it. Okay, so we've got the stand all painted. We've got the hatching time cage on top of the stand, and now both of these hatching time units are at the same height. I can access all 6 tiers now with no issues. So if you guys want to build a stand, similar to this, where you get your hatching time cage, up off the ground a little bit, you go ahead and follow these measurements, because these measurements are pretty much going to fit all of the hatching time dimensions. So guys, I want to thank you for joining me today. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do so. Helps me out. You get notified of any new and upcoming videos. So thanks again, and we'll see you on the next one.